Okay, I have 9:01, so we will call our meeting to order. My name is Eric Miller. I'm the Executive Director here at Tri-County Regional Planning Commission. And this is the first of our Regional Transportation Safety Committee. First of all, I want to mention you for agreeing to sit on this. This is a formal committee of the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission. Probably the first one we've formed in a long, long time. So we have sort of a structure here. We have to comply with the Open Meetings Act and all the government things that you guys are mostly used to. But we did so as opposed to an ad hoc committee because this is an important issue and we want to sort of build this into the structure of our decision-making process at the commission. Please come in. Transportation safety is of the utmost importance to the Regional Planning Commission as a function of the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And Gavin, Michael, and Rima will explain a little bit about what we sort of do here and why this is important to us. But for me personally, this is an important issue. There's not a day or a week go by that we sort of read, or hear about some accident or death or some other sort of incident revolving around transportation safety. And it's our assertion that some of these are preventable. And so we want to look into this and do what we can from a planning standpoint to help prevent some of these and mitigate these experiences. There's also another sort of underlying factor here is that there's funding out there for transportation safety. That's not available to us on a normal cycle unless we sort of dig a little bit deeper into the issues and come up with some recommendations. And this committee sort of sets the foundation for that. So we are open to ideas. You're obviously here because you're experts in your field and you have a unique perspective on transportation safety, whether that's construction safety, school safety, just overall engineering, or from a public safety standpoint. You're here for a variety of different reasons. All your input is valuable, so we want to hear that. There's no crazy ideas here. So if you have you're driving by something and you see something that's a problem, please let us know about it, point it out, and we'll, maybe we can give you an explanation of who, what, why. But again, I welcome you. I appreciate your hard work. This is going to be as deep as you want to get, right? We can do a lot of different things here. If there's funding that we need to go after, we can certainly go after that funding. The commission has reserve funding for special projects, so we can ask the commission to fund a variety of things. So let's be creative here. And let's try to do some good for the region here. So with that, again, we have sort of a formal structure. I'm going to turn it over to Lori. We'll do a roll call, and then we'll go around the table and do some introductions.
And please let me know if I mispronounce your name. Matt Bartolo.
Here.
Ben Brewer. Joshua Collins. Jeff Council. Ann Dubay.
Yeah.
Jeff Ekina.
Economic here.
Economic.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Philip Evans.
Here.
Lenora Fisher. Amy Fox.
Here.
Keith Gerken.
Here.
Josh Harris. Cindy Luce. Jeff Lauer. Jason Marks.
Here.
Amy McLaren. Here. Dan Parr.
Here.
Rick Powers. Shamra Robinson. Here. Jody Scott. Here. Alvaray Shabib.
Here.
Barak. Okay, sorry. Yes. Amy Smith. Here. Jacqueline Workman. Here.
All right. Well, thank you. We're a 21 member board. So for a quorum, we need 11, which we have. There's a few that were not able to make it, and they let us know when I sent out the agenda packet. If you all can make that a habit when we send it out, if you can't make it, just let us know. That we would greatly appreciate it. And then also not included on the agenda today is a chairman, since this is a public body, we do need a chairperson. I didn't want it to do on the first day, just because we're all getting to know each other right. And I'm getting kind of into things, but if you can keep that in mind, we'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting, which is June 11th. So if there's anyone interested, please let us know. But we'll bring that up at our next meeting.
And certainly attend the next meeting where you might find yourself as chairman.
Good point, Eric. Thank you for that. So we always have the opportunity for public comment before we start a meeting. I don't see anyone today here, but we always have that as an opportunity. So we wanted to start the meeting off first, is just to do some quick introductions. Name, organization, I think is anything else you'd be interested in sharing. Let's just go around the room. We'll start with Ray and then go to Dan and then around the table.
I don't want to have one back. Either back to me. I'm Ray Lees. I'm the planning program chairman here at, or planning program manager here at Tri-County.
Dan Parr, Caddo County Engineer.
Smith, Assistant Regional Superintendent of Schools, ROE 48 here in Peoria.
African Regional Superintendent for Mason Hospital for county schools.
Amy McLaren, County Engineer with the Peoria County Highway Department.
I'm Jason Marks, Director of Emergency Management for Peoria County.
Jackie Workman, Castle County Community Development.
Albert Rushby, I'm with IDOT, and Bureau of Local Roads, Streets.
I'm Rima Abiakar. I'm a senior planner here at Tri-County.
Lori Reynolds, I'm the Office Administrator at Tri-County.
Michael Bruner, Senior Planner here at Tri-County Regional Planning Commission.
Eric Miller, Tri-County.
I am Gavin Hunt, Tri-County.
Fox, Hazel County Health Department.
Bill Evans, Beacon Insurance. Pete Durkin, Delaware Ambulance Service.
Angie Day, I'm the Village General Town Village Administrator, Economic Development Director. Shlomo Ladisi, Director of Community Engagement and Public Relations of the Board of Management of District City.
Jody Scott, Director of Operations at Advocates for Access.
Matt Bartolo, Business Manager, Labor's Local 165, President of West Central Building Trades.
Thank you for that. Okay. So now we're gonna do a quick, just kind of introduction into Tri-County and what we are and what we do. Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, we were established in 1958. We support the three counties of Peoria, Tazewell, and Woodford County. Over 46 communities within our three counties with a little bit over 360,000 in population. We're kind of the stewards of our regional vision. You can kind of see us as an extension of staff for all the communities and counties that we serve. But just in addition to being the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, the next slide, we are also a metropolitan planning organization, or an MPO. And what that is an MPO is a federally required organization for all urbanized areas with a population of 50,000 or more. And the task of an MPO is to conduct transportation planning for the region. So the MPO gets allocated federal funding to help program regionally. And the intent is to help prevent the federal funding to go to just one jurisdiction within the region, but to spread it, equally regionally, going to regional projects, and kind of getting the public input and stakeholders' involvement in the planning process. So our MPO covers all three counties. We get a little bit of Woodford County in the Germantown Hills Bayview Garden area. So we have a total of 25 communities within our MPO. And then if you go directly down and just into the urbanized area, there's 17 communities. So that is the MPO. Go to the next slide. And kind of our core planning efforts in Tri-County. So as the MPO, as I mentioned, we do transportation planning. And that's probably about 80% of what we do as an organization. And the other 20%, we also work in the environment side of things and also in the land use community planning side of things. In terms of environment, we have some watershed planning. We recently just finished the Kickapoo Creek watershed plan. We're currently undergoing a water supply planning effort. We keep our hazard mitigation plan for the region. So we do that every 5 years. In terms of community planning land use, we help our local jurisdictions with updating their community comprehensive plans or the county comprehensive plan, currently working with Peoria County and a consultant to update the Peoria County comprehensive plan. We also work in the kind of current planning side of things, doing zoning and site planning reviews. One of our staff members works with Jacqueline over here to do the land use for Pasco County. We also work in the data and GIS field, doing kind of asset management and collecting data points for infrastructure and putting those on maps. In terms of the transportation side, kind of like the core MPO documents that we update on a regular basis. We have the long range transportation plan, which we just updated last summer. That's a document that we update every 5 years. And then we also have kind of for the short range of that, how we implement the LRTP is our transportation improvement program. Additionally, we have our human service transportation plan or HSTP. That's where we look at transit for the region. And then we have some active transportation planning that we do. When we updated our LRTP, we had for the first time, a really big section in active transportation planning, so kind of merged those two documents together. And then we also have some performance measures that are required federally that we review on an annual or an biannual basis. Specifically, safety performance targets. That's something that we review on an annual basis. And one of the ideas for this committee is that we wanted to bring those to you all on a yearly basis to review, get input from you all on setting our performance measures, which then we would take that input from you all to our technical committee to review, and then ultimately get recommended to our full commission to adopt. Yes.
So as Michael shared, some of these are federally required, some are not, some are part of just our ongoing efforts at Tri-County. But the one thing that links each of these plans, and there are far more that reference safety in some way, I presume that would be part of this committee's objective, is to identify all of the safety related goals and strategies within each of these plans and really break that down and identify how we can achieve them. So,
Yes, thank you. Yep. Looking into safety. That is great. Yeah, so that's just kind of overview of the Metropolitan Planning Organization in Tri-County. That was a really fast intro, very broad information, but kind of what we do on a regular basis. So now I'm gonna hand it off to Gavin here, and he's gonna give an overview of the Tri-County Comprehensive Safety Action Plan.
So this effort really was born out of our grant application to SS4A, which arose out of the IIJA, or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It was a massive grant, $5 billion in appropriated funds over 5 years, from 2022 to 2026. So there was a wide variety of things that you could choose to do with this funding. For our region, we thought it would be beneficial to implement a safety action plan And ultimately, that's what led us here today. So as it says there, funds creation of safety action plans for projects identified in qualifying safety action plans. So I presume that there will be more funding for some of the projects that have been identified in the safety action plan or some of the goals that we've identified. So there will be follow-on work to complete those goals. Just to go a little deeper into our timeline, as I said before, in fall 2022, we applied for SS4A funds, and we contracted with the Lockmuir Group to complete that plan, and we received that notice of grant award in 2023. And that grant was an 80-20 split, so we received 500,000 overall, 400,000 of that was federal, and then 100,000 of that was a match from local membership dues. And when we say local membership dues, we're referring to the membership jurisdictions that comprise Tri-County Regional Planning Commission. So that corresponded with a 5-year update for the LRTP, and ultimately we got our first CSAP for the region. So this process to create the CSAP is not unlike any of our other plans. It really starts with the formation of the safety committee. So that was the safety committee to create that plan, and then we have this committee.
A number of you may have served on that committee, 4 or 5 of you, I think. Thank you.
So Lockmuir Group and ourselves combined all of our data to perform that preliminary investigation of the data in the region. We could look at crashes, average speeds, and then different equity factors. We performed public engagement to see if there was anyone in the public had anything to add or contribute to this process. And we reviewed best management practices, which we'll talk a little bit about in the coming slides. And we identified safety projects and strategies, which really amounted to our high injury network and our priority corridors. And prioritize safety target plan, progress reporting. A lot of that work will probably be done by this committee. And the final plan, the CSAP, and the key deliverables, which are really our GIS data and our maps that we use to take a look at those corridors and see if our other projects overlap with those corridors. Are we doing a project that is taking place on one of those corridors? Why does it deserve extra attention? And how can we use what we've already built to improve that project? So for the scope of work, it's really all built around the U.S. Department of Transportation Safe System approach. You can choose to remember all of these different ones: safer people, safer vehicles, safer speeds, safer roads, post-crash care. But one of I think the most important thing to remember about the safe system approach is that it's about anticipating behavior and not blaming people or individuals for accidents. Of course, there are going to be people who drive while intoxicated, or they don't wear a helmet, don't wear a seatbelt, but really it's about creating roads and infrastructure that anticipates that behavior, prevents it from happening in the first place, rather than responding reactively. Okay, now keep in mind this data is outdated. We're in 2026 now, but this is the data that was used to contribute to the plan. So we had 158 fatalities and 1,798 A injuries. The A injuries is related to incapacitations. So fatalities involving pedestrians, bicyclists, 13.3%. A injuries involving pedestrians and bicyclists. And the reason pedestrians and bicyclists is highlighted here is because they're what we consider vulnerable road users. So Tri-County region has a 5-year annual fatality average of 31.6 and a fatality rate of 8.91 per 100,000 residents. So the regional underserved communities have a 5-year annual fatality average of 4.2 and fatality rate of 11.26 per 100,000 residents. So as I said before, the CSAP really was built to identify the priority corridors and high injury network. These are the top 10 priority corridors for the region. So we've got Main Street, Peoria, Haskell Avenue in Peoria, Parkway Drive in Pekin, Jefferson Avenue in Peoria, Broadway Road, Main Street in Peoria, Washington Road, Washington, Adams Street, Peoria, Sheridan Road, Peoria, and Sterling Avenue.
But really fast, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
So we knew when we were developing our comprehensive safety action plan, that, this plan is for all three counties, including the rural areas. But we knew that the kind of the urbanized area was going to kind of dominate, these top 10 priority corridors. So in response to that, we also developed 3 other, top 10, lists. So we did a top 10 list for Peoria County, another one for Tazewell County, and then one for Woodford County. So in the plan, we have the regional top 10, but then we also have a top 10 for each specific county. That way we can show, what corridors are, kind of popping up, needing maybe some attention in each county.
Yeah, and I'll say that's something that pops up in all of our plans. It's just a natural consequence of an urban area. It's going to show up a lot more because there's more people, more intersections for people to crash at. So it's a natural consequence of it. But we do normalize by population density or intersection density to mitigate that issue. Okay, and then this is the high injury network. This is a regional, but what it really represents is the small number of roadways that experience a majority of fatal and serious injury crashes, as I said, for the A injuries. And that is based on the safety index score or crash frequency, plus the weighted crash frequency, which is based on the EDPO. And that's what that stands for, but it's based on, it's weighted by property damage. It's equalized by property damage.
Yes, so it's taken out the crashes that are, frequently, occur, but no injuries happen other than just property damage.
Okay, and so I've extracted the major strategies from our CSAP so that we have an idea of what they are. One of them is to develop guidance for navigating multi-jurisdictional landscapes within communities. So being that we're a regional organization, one of the issues that pops up time and time again is that no one wants to be the regional owner of a project, or people or different membership jurisdictions don't want to take ownership. And so this is something that we aim to correct. Develop a roadmap of available data resources. Speaks for itself. Host equitable target area and high injury network information on the TCRTC website. Enhance the long-range transportation plan to better incorporate equity elements. Establish safe routes to school programs. Partner with law enforcement agencies to implement targeted enforcement efforts. Utilize transportation education campaign materials available from USDOT. Establish transportation safety committee. Here we are. Implement non-infrastructure capacity building project. And that's referring back to the safe routes to school, which we have also applied for, and provided that we do receive that funding, it will be part of the responsibility, part of the committee's responsibility to carry out that project. Okay, and if you could, just as I say these categories, just go ahead and raise your hand while I look around so we already did introduction, but it'll just give us another idea of who everyone is. Public schools, state highway patrol, police departments.
I'm also not here today. We're able to make it.
Okay. County highway departments. City public works departments,
It's not gonna get in there.
labor unions. Health department. Greater Peoria Mass Transit District. Businesses. And okay, thank you.
HSTP.
Yeah.
You're with the transit district.
Okay.
Okay, so the SS4A emphasis areas are complete streets. That refers to streets that include street furniture, could include lighting, promoting walking and biking and transit, so providing those pedestrian and biking facilities, advancing racial and health equity, managing speeds for safety, making system changes based on the safe system approach which we discussed, demonstration, design, and activities. And so for that last one, the demonstration, design, activities, it could be a walk audit, could be students walking to school one day through the Safe Routes to School approach, and you know, the students would be tasked with identifying problems they have along their trip. It's just one example, or it could be like a safety license, providing kids with a safety license, or maybe we might temporarily modify the roadway and see how roadway behavior changed. Did speeds decrease? Did the drivers behave more appropriately on the roadway after that intervention was made? So these were our emphasis areas for SF. But as I said before, we submitted a grant for the Safe Routes to School program. And again, it depends on the 6 E's: evaluation, education, and encouragement, engagement, engineering, and equity. So within this committee, we all fill, one of those typically specifically, but you might fulfill a couple different ones of those. So for instance, we have moved away from the enforcement. That's Safe Routes to School has made a point to move away from enforcement, as I said before, and anticipate behavior rather than enforcing the. So objectives: establish a transportation safety committee. Again, mentioned in our application, a safety project identification tool. A lot of that would probably be derived from our existing data. It's in our GIS database, but needs to be updated based on newer IDOT figures, crash statistics. So that tool would help us identify projects for the future. Media distribution and public engagement. This would be fantastic for us because this is not something that we do often, but it would allow us to communicate with the public about different projects that are happening in the region and different safety tips. Data collection and sharing. I think that this would break down some of the silos that might exist between different public agencies. We can focus on sharing the data that we collect from this project with different counties and cities. Not that we don't already make an effort to do that, but this provides us a direct route to that.
Okay,
Can you talk about Safe Routes to School and then just sort of the overview of the program?
yeah, we could do that. And then I also want to, if you could also go to our homepage website.
Yep.
To navigate. So IDOT does have a Safe Routes to School program. It's offered every other year. So that the next one would be not this year, but next year. And now it's typically in the August timeframe when it's open. Yeah. So not this August, but next August would be the next round. And its goal is to complete projects within a mile and a half, or is it 2? I think it's a mile and a half. Within a mile and a half of your local schools to help encourage kiddos to walk or bike to school and make it safe for them to do so. So there could be infrastructure projects, so improving sidewalks and conditions for kids to walk to school. There also can be more of a planning and engagement side of things as well. So you could put in applications to help conduct maybe a actual Safe Routes to School plan for your local school and kind of prioritize improvements. So you can have a kind of a plan of action before you start applying for actual grants for infrastructure and making those improvements. It's a great opportunity to help improve pedestrian infrastructure within our communities. It's a great opportunity for our school districts and our communities, our local governments to kind of partner together and create some projects. I don't think this is a program that's tapped in as much as it probably should be. So I highly encourage you all to encourage your local school districts and your local units of governments to collaborate and put in applications. As Gavin mentioned, we did put in an application for the last round of safe processing program. Hasn't been released yet. But that goal is for us to kind of start working with our local communities and local school districts to kind of help build a program so we can better utilize that funding pot locally. So the goal really is to collaborate and start working on developing a tool to help identify areas where it makes sense to make improvements, but also start doing that data collection and sharing on an annual basis. One of the requirements of this, well, it's not a requirement, but it's encouraged, and your application has looked higher at when you do this. They have some surveys for you to complete. So you have student surveys and then parent surveys. Student surveys for numbers that are walking to school, is that correct?
Just general, how do you get to school? Type of surveys.
Yeah, okay, yep, so we would encourage and start sending that out to our local communities and our local school districts on an annual basis, so we can continue collecting these surveys on a regular, so that when the applications do come available, we're not scrambling to try to prepare and get these surveys. Like I said, these surveys are not required, but you have a higher chance. It looks better when you do these surveys. And, we want to do the best that we can to get additional funding in our region. So that is kind of one of those big goals that we would like to see started in our region. I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, I just want to say, we've already made contact with regional offices of education, different superintendents. So that's a process that we've already carried out in order to get support for that grant application. They provided us with letters of support. So we definitely appreciate that. We're going to try to keep everybody apprised of the success of that.
I would just add, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jim.
So when you talk about student survey, is there an age requirement for the student surveys? Because when I think of students, I'm thinking of kindergarten to senior in high school. So is there?
The ones that we've seen, we did some over in the Bartonville area,
Mhm.
and it was very simple for the younger kids, like,
Okay.
take the bike to school, take the bus to school, so it was pretty simple, but they did do all ages, so they did a
Okay.
complete application.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and there's supplemented with also with parent surveys as well. So there's
Mhm.
two different surveys. I will note that the Safe Route to School, it used to be capped, I think at middle school, you could go into high school. But that's been recently changed where you can do K through 12. So that's a new addition to the program, which is nice. Okay, so
I just want to add one.
Yes.
thing. One of the challenges to all these grants is sort of preparing the project and getting it prepped so it does get selected. And the more work that you can put in on the front end, whether it's having plan done or securing engineering for it, doing that on your own, and making it as much shovel ready. We talk about shovel ready all the time. Shovel ready as possible. It makes it more attractive to fund because you have community support behind it. But identifying the local match is key. And that's what a lot of these projects will fall apart, is that everybody's behind the project, but the local match is something that the school has the budget for, the city has the budget for, they have other priorities. So that's where sort of the education campaign comes in and getting support for all these. And this goes beyond Safe Routes to School. It goes for all projects that you might enlist federal funding on. Because typically they're 80-20 split. Is that Safe Routes to School, 80-20, or is it?
This past year, I think it's been the best year, it was 100% program,
All 100%, correct.
for safe routes.
But is that in equitable areas?
For safe routes, I think, no, it is,
So
all across the board.
perfect. So 100% funded. So the more you can get, so it's very competitive. So the more you can get done, you know, and the pre-planning side is better for the application.
I wanted to showcase our website here and show you a resource. If you can go to our safety page. So if you go to our work, then transportation, and then, oh no. I haven't fixed that yet. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
We'll fix it.
Yeah.
It's too zoomed in.
Okay, perfect. So we have a safety page on our website that kind of walks through at a high level of what Gavin has presented. And then also if you, wow, that's internet's slow today.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we are. Okay, so at towards the bottom, we have some resources available where you can access our safety action plan. You can access a worksheet to kind of help with the benefit cost analysis on any kind of safety projects. You can also access our regional crash dashboard, our high injury network, which is interactive map, and then a bunch of other resources. But I wanted to call you or show you guys the crash dashboard and the high energy network here.
High energy.
I know. Been up for a while. My 20-month-old decided to wake up a little early. So anyway.
Well, we've got time.
Yeah. So this is our crash dashboard. And this is an interactive dashboard that you're able to kind of play with. Up up top, you can change if you wanted to search all crashes within a specific functional classification. So that's just type of roadway, collector, arterial, whatever it might be. We can also filter down by the type of crash. So if it's fatalities, a injury, whatever that might be. If you want to look at specifically within your municipality, and then also specifically within your school districts. And then all the data will change. So the map, and then all the different dashboards here will change based off of what you select. So this is kind of a start for, yeah.
Only accidents that involve injury.
These are all accidents within the Tri-County region. Well, yes, thank
How do
you.
you get it? Does it come through like law enforcement or something? How do you get the data?
So the data, yes, it comes from law enforcement, so it comes from all the crash reports, which is then submitted to DOT.
Okay. And one more, do they provide if any of those are incidents with hazardous material?
Oh.
Or like that involve hazardous materials,
I would have to,
vehicles, or even if there's, 50 gallons of diesel fuel from the semi.
and not that I know of, I would have to look into the attributes deeper for that to fully answer that.
Well, the beauty of this is that it, just like any of our other GIS work, it is editable, and we could see if IDOT has that comment. The way IDOT structures the crash reports, it tells you typically the reason why a crash occurred. So, maybe that is also part of the work of the committee is to determine, is this exhaustive enough a list? Is this useful enough a list? So this, as far as I know, this we can add, but
As long as, it's the data's available, we can add to.
But I don't know if previous accidents would include hazardous material. This is on the report. You're right.
How often do they update that data?
So this is updated annually, but it's always a year behind. Yeah,
20.
I think 24, maybe 24 is available. Yeah.
So it's not I mean,
Yeah, I think it takes some time to extract the data from the actual, police reports and then put into the GIS. So it takes a while for the DOT to kind of QC the data.
Fortunately, however, we are able to observe trends, and that's part of what the purpose of the high injury network and priority four was. We're observing trends and applying them rather than just the individual.
And you want to show the high energy. Gosh, injury. I cannot speak to it. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
So this is just a, interactive map that you can play with, to kind of look at the different, corridors that are on that list.
And again, it goes back to crash frequency, sleep, crash frequency. The other one should be. And then it labels different levels of roadways as well.
So this will be helpful when, our local jurisdictions, apply for funding, federal funding, or even, state funding, for improvements. They can show and have that data to say that, hey, this corridor, is on, this network, it's been identified in the planning process, it has high need. Just wanted to make sure that highlight those two resources for you all as available. So we've thrown a lot at you all. I don't know, is there any questions as of yet? And feel free to reach out, email me, or Gavin. We can schedule a one-on-one conversation if you would like that as well. Always happy to help. And
again, this is your committee. We're here to support you. So I guess I'm curious, is there anybody sort of that had some expectations coming into this that, we sort of went off the rails on or did not sort of meet what your expectation was? Because we deal in the government world, we deal with data and acronyms and forms and processes. You all deal with real life stories. And so we're trying to make this a little bit more real life for us and how we program improvements and try to get, the stories behind those improvements or behind the need for the investment. So please let us know, if there's something that this committee would be really great at addressing. And we're here to support whatever it is you want to do.
A lot of times, Eric, in the past, it's been like, it's the engineers, fix the road, make the road slower, make this. But really, it takes all these stakeholders from around the room and to keep the lives and save the lives and make sure kids are safe and make sure that people have to respond to get the, the treatment needed as quickly as possible. So I'd like to see not just the engineers, but like the other stakeholders to really give some feedback. Now, how can we do this better? Because we still have high number. It's not acceptable.
And the one thing, Gavin pointed off in the FS4A program, I like the low cost, no cost solutions because I think that's where you all can excel at. We think in terms of it's got to be an engineered, improved product where you have construction equipment and all that stuff to make the improvement. And a lot of times that's for sure. But there's other things that we can do that perhaps it's a little bit more affordable for school district or community to invest in that makes a huge difference in people's lives. So we're here for those sorts of solutions as well. And again, I think if we don't talk about it, it's never going to come to fruition.
Could be something, just to give an example, so crosswalk paving, engaging the community, crosswalk thing, the native solution, so it doesn't require a lot of technical expertise.
Michael, question for you. Can you go back to the surveys for the safe routes to school? Like, what are we gonna be doing with that information? And is this gonna be the clearinghouse to assist the communities? Like, 'cause I know Amy's helped out like the Village Parkville with their park system or their up and coming park system to the schools, and then like the Islamic Center in Peoria on Charter Oak is, those are the two that come to mind that are kind of in the hopper, at least those talked about. But then we always run into the issue where we're competing against ourselves, you know, in a lot of these cases when we're putting these grant applications together. So do we see this body as being the kind of clearinghouse to take that information and make those applications on their behalf?
That's a really good question. And so we do run into the so that's kind of one of the points that Tri-County is here for, is more of that regional approach. So we do run into the issues often where we have our local, governments within our urbanized area that do compete with each other. And so how can we develop kind of more of a regional approach and really pinpoint those priority projects? I think I see this body as helping identify those priority projects and then working with those school districts and those communities to put in an application, and we would assist with them, but we wouldn't put in the application on behalf of them. We would just provide that technical support and help encourage and do whatever we can to help move that project forward.
I think that's also part of the purpose of the project identification tool, is that those projects will long have been identified as a priority. And so it's not necessarily that we're targeting any particular project, but the data that we collected should make it apparent which one has priority. So it's not any particular person or group advocating for it, but the data that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think if we can, when we throw a lot of projects that aren't planned at the state or whomever's making those decisions, it's easy to turn those down, but we have a well thought out, sort of documented process behind that and data to support it. There's no reason, that, obviously, given that they do a little bit of geographic equity in their project selection, that we won't get one. But I know if we send 20, we're not going to get 20 there.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we threw out the safe route to school as an example. One, because that's, we want to make sure, I'm a father, I have 4 kids. I want to make sure that they're safe. And so that's a really easy one for everyone to get behind and advocate for. But there's other examples. Actually, Gavin here is working on a bus stop accessibility plan for our region. So that's another example where we can kind of help look at identifying those bus stops where there are maybe some, safety issues that we can kind of help prioritize and get behind and help encourage to find funding to make improvements there. So that's, there's another example there. But we really want to kind of, so the sky's HSIP application. The sky is the limit. That was what we can do. It's really up to you all on kind of where we go. But yeah, HSIP is a great example. And I want to call out Dan Parr because he's been very great at Tazewell County. The Tri-County helped multiple jurisdictions do a inventory of guardrails. We were able to identify the ones that were damaged or didn't meet the current standards with the particular end types for when crashing into them to improve safety. So we were able to put together a regional application for 12 jurisdictions to improve some of their guardrails. And we received $3 million as a region, and Tazewell County was nice enough to be the lead agency on managing that process. So. Okay. Well, kind of just moving on, I just wanted to give you guys it's under updates, not because it's not necessarily an update for you all, it'll be new for you, but just wanted to let you know. So the first one here is the MPO certification review. So as we discussed, Tri-County is the MPO for our region. And since we are a larger MPO, which is classified as, so MPOs that have 200,000 or more in population are required to do a little bit of extra work with the federal government. And one of them is to undergo an MPO certification review every 4 years. So Tri-County, we just had our MPO certification meeting on Tuesday with the FHWA and FTA. And that went great. Kind of the preliminary results is no findings. There'll be a few recommendations for improving the process. But one of the things during the MPO certification review is a public comment period. So we do have a public comment period that's open until April 1st. And included in the packet is just a public notice. There's a link. So if you all want to provide, fill out a survey, provide any comments, we encourage you to do so. Not required, but if you're interested, please do. And then also is the IDOT Special Programs Assistance Conference. So we talked about the Safe Routes to School program. Another program that IDOT does is the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program. This is, so the years that the Safe Routes to School program is not offered, this program's offered. And IDOT will be holding a conference at the Peoria Public Library North Branch, May 13th and 14th. So I encourage any of those that are interested in learning more about this program or to attend, or encourage your local communities to attend to learn more. And so this is just a grant application that is geared towards your pedestrian bicycle infrastructure, your street enhancements. So it's a great opportunity to improve any kind of project. I don't know, Al, do you have anything you want to say about it?
No, that's good, Michael. There's information about this program on the IDOT website. If you want to just search ITEP, be able to read more about the history of the program, the eligible projects, previous projects that were awarded. There's a total of about 4 or 5 categories for this grant. And then there's some changes to it, which we important to listen in on the on any of these dates that we have a flyer here. It's all going to be the same presentation, but just at different locations. It shows us 2 days. The first day is going to be for first day will be for information on the grant, and then the afternoon of the first day and the second day will be reserved for one-on-one meetings with IDOT, and it's a chance for you to bring in an idea or your project idea and kind of workshop it, talk about details on it with IDOT and get feedback directly. So if you have something in mind, if it's something that's identified in this data that Tri-County has provided you, or if it's just something that follows one of those 4 categories, bike and pedestrian accommodation, then I think there's 3 others.
If it's enhancement, I think there's like historical preservation component, and then also like environmental, water.
Yeah, lighting is included as well. So that program last year, the last time this came around, it was I think the program was capped around $3 million for your eligible projects, but we've had projects that are in $100,000 range up to that range. So no project too small for for that type of thing. And then I don't know, this year I haven't seen all the new updates, but but they're anticipating this to be a successful program. The last time, kind of going back to what Eric said, the last time this grant opened up, it was extremely competitive, and in the, if you go up to the map in our Tri-County area, there were several applications that were submitted and that were not selected in this area. And so it's super competitive, and you can imagine having the resource and identifying the priorities that you have can help hopefully do a leg up when it does come time for these funding opportunities, that you can present the project forward. If it ends up being a infrastructure type of improvement that you identified, those opportunities you're ready for. If it's not directly on infrastructure, like you said, bulldozers and all that, if it's something else on the safe system approach. Yeah, it's a really nice thing to look at. It gives you kind of ideas. And, it's not always just gonna be bulldozers and cranes. If there's something else that's not that, then you'll be ready for. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that are not transportation world. That's what I know. So, but there's other things too that are not directly related to construction, engineering. Amy alluded to that also. So I think that's about as much as I have to mention for ITEP. If you have questions, there's some information on the flyer.
Well, that's all that we have. Our next meeting would be June 11th of this year in this room at 9 a.m. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, just a reminder that if you haven't already, I know maybe some of you already have and emailed me your OMA training certificate, but if you haven't already, please take the training. It is a requirement to have those on file for all of you. So if you could complete that certificate training and send it to me or Lori, we would greatly appreciate it.
Any questions or comments from you all before we adjourn? Okay, if there's any questions or concerns in the meantime before June 11th, please reach out. We will get your questions answered.
And then also, if you parked in our parking deck, please come let us know. We can validate your parking.
Please see you. Please be ready.
But we pointed what our neighbors to the north and south are, right?
Actually, I was calling them.
Oh, man.